Hello there, Oddimus Prime here. This week on Retro Reviews, I'm going to begin in the way I intend to continue. That is with an Optimus Prime. Now, this week we're discussing 1984, so it would be absolutely bonkers of me to not talk about the original, the granddaddy of them all, 1984 G1 Optimus Prime. Let's have a look at him now. So here we have my shelf dedicated to the G1 Optimus Prime mold. Now, I'm going to point out at this point that this figure here is the only actual G1 Optimus Prime I have, and I will fully admit that this is not a particularly great example. I bought it off of eBay very cheaply, and it is not in the best of nick. There's some stress marks and other bits and bobs all over the place, and he's wobbly as all hell. Wobble floppy. Yeah. With some paint chips, and all of this just adds to his charm. My original G1 Prime, which actually belonged to my brother, was long ago sacrificed to the greater toy gods. He was battle damaged up by a pair of compasses, had his eye scratched out, all of his windows were broken, and he was in a terrible state. And he has long since disappeared. I have no idea where he went. Yeah, so this one that I bought a little while ago is not my original one, and he's missing just about everything. But let's have a quick look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swap him over to this one, which is actually a commemorative series Optimus Prime from, oh gosh, when did they come out? Late 90s? Late 90s, early 2000s? I forget. Probably 15-year anniversary. It wasn't 20th anniversary, I don't think, because that was when the first MP came out. Anyway, this one is just a better example in terms of his overall neatness and look. So I'm going to use him for the basis of the review. So let's start with his articulation. G1 Optimus Prime has, I mean, to be fair, for a G1 figure, he has not bad articulation. He has knees that bend. He has hips that bend, although technically that's part of the transformation. His legs cannot move forward. This one has rubber tires, which is always lovely. In fact, most of them do have rubber tires. I think only some of them have plastic wheels. Weirdly, I'm not that much of an expert in G1 Optimus Prime. Anywho, his head does not move because there's a little tiny peg in the bottom of this plate which stops his head from moving from side to side, which I always found a little odd, but hey. His chest cavity does pull forward in order to fit in. This one has a matrix in there. You could fit, in the Diaclone era, two little drivers there, and that was lovely, wasn't it? Lovely. But they obviously didn't have a use in Transformers, and when little driver type dudes came along in Headmasters, they were way too big to fit in there. Now, there are different types of hands that came with Optimus Prime. The normal sort of ones that most people got were sort of this kind of deal, but there was also something that became known as bloated fists, which were some of the early ones, had bigger, fatter, bloated hands, and obviously a hole to be able to fit in his ion blaster. Yeah, so this one has the short stacks because in the 90s and 2000s in America, apparently you could kill yourself or others if you had long stacks. I never understood that. That was a bit health and safety gone mad. So what else can we say about him? Articulation wise, back to the articulation. On the arms, you have almost full 360 degree rotation at the shoulders. You have decent rotation at the elbows, again because of part of the transformation, and the hands are separate, so you can twist them around a little bit if you really want to. The gun does not sit particularly nicely, but you know, what are you going to do? So it's got a separate peg from the handle, so he's not even really holding it in the right place. Again, with G1 Optimus Prime, there are a couple of different versions of the gun. There's a fatter, more bloated version that came in some of the earlier versions. Optimus Prime was such a popular toy and such a popular figure, obviously being the leader of the Autobots and basically one of the selling points of Transformers entirely. So he was actually produced by lots of different manufacturers depending on the country. Seiji in France was a good Seiji. I don't know how to pronounce that. Probably C-E-J-I. Probably completely mispronouncing that. Anyway, they had their own version. There was one that had red feet and other variations depending on where he came from. But let's give him a little transform, shall we? So you take off his old hands and his gun. When I was a kid, I was convinced that when I finally got hold of one, his hands were going to somehow disappear into his arms, but that was not the case. So the head flips around like that, nice and simply. That stays nice and flush. The arms just slide back like that, and then you've got a nice big gap there for the pivot. And then you can bring the arms up like that so that they're flush. Push these pieces in here. Oops, bashing against my Detolf. I opted to just take this straight in the Detolf rather than creating booth mode. Push those in there and push those in there. They clip into little grooves like that. Feet go straight, and then that, oops, just pops back there. And then you have a lovely, convincing truck mode. And that is literally it. That is all there is to G1 Prime. He is simple, he's a little bit derpy, but he is just wonderful. The colours are just so striking. The dark blue just really just makes the red pop. So much lovely chrome. The silver stickers. He's just gorgeous. And here's another version. This is a more recent Takara version of him, I believe. No, sorry. This is the Walmart exclusive version from a couple of years back. Again, the first one from America. They actually had the long stacks for quite a while. Yep, so that's him. And he also came with his fantastic trailer, including the repair bay and, of course, Roller, the simplest of Transformers that does what doesn't transform. Originally came in silver and then more commonly in blue. This version, which is the reissue, the 20th anniversary commemorative version, is actually blue that's been spray painted silver. Brilliant. I'm not actually going to get in and transform that in this video because I'm going to come back to him in one of my other videos later on, because I'm going to be doing a comparison between this dude and the new exciting version of him that's just been released for the 40th anniversary. So I'm going to stop there because otherwise I could talk about Optimus Prime all day, and you don't really want to just watch me waffle on. So in the background there, I do have a KO box of Optimus Prime, and that is the one of the commemorative ones that came from Takara a couple of years ago in a 2-pack with the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. So yes, I'm gonna stop talking now. I hope you've enjoyed this little trip down memory lane and enjoyed looking at G1 1984 Optimus Prime. Let me know what you think. Do you like this version of Optimus Prime? Is he the definitive Optimus Prime for you, or are you more of a masterpiece kind of guy or girl or other? Thank you for watching. Goodbye.